Hey everyone, my name is Jamie Richard and I'm a technical sales engineer here at PowerSyncPro. One feature we've added to version 3.3 of Migration Agent is the ability to support GCC High tenants. And this includes Entra GCC High as a source or a target, and we can migrate machines into a GCC High tenant as an Entra joined device. So setting that up takes a couple of steps, but I'm going to walk you through it today. So over here we have a standard version 3.3 install of PowerSyncPro, and I've already added an Active Directory. This is going to act as my source. In order to add a GCC High tenant, if we look here in directories, we don't have a way to select our tenant type. This is hidden behind a developer flag, so we're going to have to add that. So the first step would be to log into your PSP server via RDP or on the console and run Notepad as administrator. We're going to open up the app settings.json, and that exists within the PowerSyncPro folder within program files. So if we change our type here and we find app settings.json, there it is, we need to add a developer flag. And this is done through our feature switches. So we're going to choose between logging and job config here, and we're going to add feature switches. So I'm just going to fix my spacing here and do that. So now we've got allow Entra ID cloud choice, and that is true. So we'll save out our app settings.json, and there's a KB article with all of these steps linked in the description of the video. So go ahead and check that out if you need help doing this. So once we have that, we'll just restart the PowerSyncPro service on the server. It's going to bring down the PowerSyncPro web interface and bring it back up. And if we refresh here, we have to wait a couple of seconds for PowerSyncPro to come back up. Cool, so we're back up. So now that PowerSyncPro is reloaded, we check our create directory here and we choose Entra. We'll see now we have an Azure type. For most GCC High tenants, Azure US Government DoD is the target. If it doesn't work for some reason, try Azure US Government. And then if it doesn't work after that, reach out to our support team. For app registration information, in order to create an app registration for commercial, we have a script that you can use to create that registration. But in this situation, due to GCC High, that script isn't supported. So we have requirements for that app registration in our documentation, which will be linked below. And that will give you the permissions and requirements for your registration. So I'm just going to pull in a registration I've already created. Includes the client ID and the secret. And we're going to just bring in users and devices here. If we're using it as a source, we need users and devices. If it's a target, we only need user. That's something you can figure out by reading the prereqs. And we'll just give this a display name. And it'll go out to Entra. And it's going to pull in the target. And now we take a look at this target. We can see that the name is not on Microsoft.us, which is the target tenant for GCC High. And we'll have to get our bulk enrollment token. Now you will require some permissions to do this. We just give it a name. Those are also outlined in the documentation. So we'll just click generate. And we're going to log into the tenant. And once that's done, when you're logged in, we'll go out to the cloud and we'll pull in the bulk enrollment package, and it'll show up down here. So once you confirm that that's in place, you're good to go. So now we'll just set up a basic sync profile between our Active Directory and our Entra so that we can see what a translation table for a GCC High tenant looks like. So we're going to go from our tenant there. We're just going to set up a basic match-only profile here to match users between the AD and the Entra. And in this situation, I'm going to match the SAM account name on the AD side to the mail nickname on the Entra side. And once that's done, we'll quickly run a sync. Excellent. we can check our translation table. And now the translation table is different than in commercial. That's because commercial uses a SID of S-1-12-1, while GCC uses a different SID of S-1-12-8. Might also be a different number here. So in this situation, we're comparing the SID from our AD, and we're matching it to a SID in Entra, which is an S-1-12-8 SID. We go out and we automatically look up the SID from the target tenant, and we confirm that it's correct, so that there's no additional work to be done when doing matching between a source directory and a GCC High directory. So now that you've got your translation table set up for your GCC High tenant, you can continue using PowerSyncPro as normal. It acts exactly like it would in a commercial environment, and you set up your runbooks, your batches, deploy your agent, and do migrations as normal. It's also worth noting that PowerSyncPro fully supports normal functionality with DirSync using a GCC High tenant. So if you need to move directory objects from a commercial tenant into a GCC High tenant, we can help with that. My name is Jamie Richard. I'm a technical sales engineer here at PowerSyncPro. I'm happy to help you out with any issues you have with the tool, or my support team will too. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.